Hello, Scorpio. Let's talk honestly for a moment. Something is coming for you this weekend. And it isn't just another notification lighting up your phone screen. This is different. This is the message or the call that will catch you off guard before you even read the words or hear the voice. You'll feel it in your chest first, that quiet recognition that the person reaching out isn't speaking to the version of you the world gets to see, but to the one you've been keeping safely hidden behind your achievements. Your composure and your control. This is someone who sees through the armor, not because they've been trying to expose you, but because they've been watching you long enough to understand you. They know the weight you've been carrying without ever saying a word about it, and they're not afraid of the truth of you. You've spent years playing the role you thought you had to the strong one, the mysterious one, the person who never lets anyone see too far inside. And you've done it so well that most people never even think to look beyond the surface. But this call or message will be from someone who already has. They won't be fooled by the protective layers, not because they aren't real, but because they can see the parts of you that aren't on display. They will speak to the side of you that wonders if you'd still be enough without the control, without the strategy, without the constant holding of your ground. And instead of pulling away when they see that version, they will lean in closer. That's when you'll feel something shift, a small breaking inside, but the kind that lets more light in. It will challenge you, Scorpio, because it's easier to be respected than to be truly known. Respect lets you control the narrative, but being known means giving up the distance and letting someone stand in the room with you as you are. The call or message you're about to receive will invite you into that space. It's not here to strip away your strength, but to remind you that your strength doesn't have to come from being impenetrable. It can come from connection, from allowing someone to see the moments where you doubt yourself and still deciding you're worthy of being loved in them. This is why it matters. This isn't just communication, it's an opening, and once it happens, you won't be able to go back to building the same kind of walls you've lived behind. You'll notice how exhausting they've been to maintain, how heavy it's been to hold up the image of being enough by always being in control. You'll start to see the difference between the people who only know your presence and the ones who can sit with you in your silence. And that's the shift this weekend is bringing, from being seen for what you project to being seen for who you are. Scorpio, this is where the deeper shift begins. For so long, you've measured your worth by the impressions you make, the results you deliver, and the ways you can stay in control of how others perceive you. Every achievement, every compliment, every nod of approval has been another brick in the wall you've built around yourself. You told yourself it was protection, a way to keep out those who wouldn't value you, a way to make sure you were never caught off guard. But over time, that wall didn't just keep people out. It kept you in. It made it harder for anyone to reach the real you, and harder for you to step outside of the image you've created. The truth is, Scorpio, those walls have been heavy to maintain. You've carried them like armor. And yes, they've kept you safe from certain kinds of pain, but they've also kept you from receiving the kind of love and recognition that goes beyond surface admiration. This weekend's call or message is not just about what will be said, it's about what it will unlock inside you. The person reaching out won't be asking for the polished version of you. They will come with words or presence that speak directly to the parts of you that have been longing to be seen without having to perform. And here's the thing, when they speak, something inside will loosen. You might not notice it right away, but later you'll realize the tension you've carried for years has eased. You'll remember their words, not because they were dramatic or grand, but because they held a truth that felt safe to let in. It will be the beginning of dismantling the walls brick by brick, not in one dramatic collapse, but in a steady, deliberate way that lets you breathe again. You'll start to see that living to impress has kept you admired, but it hasn't allowed you to be deeply loved. And as you let yourself be seen more fully, you'll discover that true recognition, the kind that understands you as a whole person, is far more satisfying than applause could ever be. Scorpio, the way this moment unfolds for you will carry its own unique shape depending on where your birthday falls. For those of you born between the 23rd of October and the 1st of November, the message or call may reopen a door you thought was closed for good, a professional or creative opportunity you had quietly grieved, something you believed had slipped out of reach forever. It will remind you that timing has its own intelligence and that what is meant for you often circles back when you're ready to meet it without the weight of old fears. If your birthday falls between the 2nd of November and the 12th of November, what comes will feel far more personal. It may be a deeply emotional message from someone in your past, someone you haven't heard from in years, but who has carried a piece of you with them. Their words will reach into places you thought no one could touch anymore, bringing both a flood of memory and a quiet recognition that your impact on others runs deeper than you realized. And for those born between the 13th of November and the 21st of November, the contact could arrive as an invitation to step into a position of leadership or to stand at the center of a situation where your presence carries weight. But this won't be about power for its own sake. It will demand that you lead with authenticity, not just strategy. You'll be called to show not only your skill, but your humanity, to let people see the real person behind the composure. No matter your birth date, this weekend marks the beginning of something bigger, a movement away from guarding your heart through image and toward living in a way where being fully seen is no longer a risk, but a choice. Over time, Scorpio, the ripple effects of this moment will reach far beyond the weekend. This isn't just about one conversation or one chance encounter. It's the start of a gradual but undeniable shift in the way you move through the world. You've lived for so long under the quiet pressure to prove yourself, to be flawless in order to be worthy of love, to hold everything together so tightly that no one could question your strength. But this exchange will begin loosening that grip. You'll start to notice how exhausting it has been to chase perfection, as if it were the only ticket to connection. Slowly, you'll release the idea that you need to be more just to be enough. The attention you've sought in the past, the praise, the acknowledgement, the visible markers of success will begin to lose their hold over you. It's not that you won't still enjoy being appreciated, but it will no longer define your sense of worth. You'll see the difference between the fleeting rush of external validation and the deeper, quieter satisfaction of knowing your value from within. You'll begin to measure your life less by how many eyes are on you, and more by how aligned you feel with yourself when no one else is watching. And as this internal shift takes root, it will transform the way you lead, love, and show up for the people around you. When you no longer feel the need to hide behind an image, your influence becomes cleaner, more genuine. People will sense that your guidance doesn't come from a desire to control, but from a place of shared strength and mutual respect. You'll inspire others not by being untouchable, but by showing them it's possible to stand in your power while still being human. This is the era you're stepping into, one where your authenticity becomes your greatest asset, and where the most magnetic thing about you is that you no longer have anything to prove. So when it happens, Scorpio, understand that it is not an accident. The timing, the words, and the way it reaches you, none of it is random. It is the first turning of a wheel that will keep moving for months to come. Each rotation revealing a little more of the life you've been quietly preparing yourself to live. This single moment of contact will act like a key, unlocking doors you didn't even realize had been closed. And once they open, and you won't just step into new opportunities or deeper connections, you'll step into a version of yourself that feels more whole, more honest, and more at peace than you've felt in years. In the months that follow, you'll begin to notice the shift in your relationships. Some will naturally deepen, becoming richer and more supportive because they're built on truth rather than performance. Others will quietly fade, not out of conflict, but because they can't meet you in this new space of openness and authenticity. You will start to choose differently who you spend time with, what you say yes to, how much of yourself you give, and each choice will be a declaration that you value the real you more than the version that used to keep you safe. This is not just about connection with others, it's about the connection you rebuild with yourself. The walls you've lived behind will no longer feel like protection, they'll feel like distance, and you'll have no desire to go back behind them. Instead, you'll be walking into rooms, relationships, and opportunities as your full self. Unedited and unapologetic, that's where the real change happens. And it's why this moment matters so much. What's beginning now will carry you through a season of transformation that isn't measured in quick wins or fleeting highs, but in the steady, unshakable, knowing that you are living a life aligned with who you truly are and that Scorpio is a change that doesn't fade. And so, Scorpio, as we close this message, I want you to really let this sink in. What's coming is not just a phone call, not just a text, not just a passing moment in your weekend. It's the start of a shift that will echo through every part of your life. You might not even realize it as it happens. It may feel small, almost unremarkable at first, but somewhere deep inside, you'll feel it, that subtle but undeniable click when something in your soul recognizes this is different. Over the next months, you'll begin to carry yourself differently. The old patterns, the need to overperform, the constant monitoring of how you're being perceived, they will start to lose their power over you. You'll notice that you're no longer chasing attention, but attracting connection. You won't feel the same urge to explain yourself, to prove yourself, or to hide the parts of you that feel vulnerable. And that freedom will be worth more than any applause you've ever received. The relationships that survive this shift will be the ones that see you, not just your image. They will be the connections that grow stronger because they're built on truth and trust. And the opportunities that come will be the ones that don't require you to dim your light or compromise your values. This is the beauty of what's beginning. You're not just stepping into more, you're stepping into better. So when that call comes, when that message appears, take a deep breath and let it in. Don't overthink it. Don't doubt whether you deserve it. Just receive it, because it's not coincidence. It's not random, and it's not temporary. It's your confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be, at the exact moment you were meant to arrive. This is the first chapter in a story you'll be proud to tell, the chapter where you stop performing and start living, where you stop protecting your heart by hiding it and start protecting it by honoring it. Remember, Scorpio, you've been preparing for this without even knowing it. And once you cross this threshold, there's no going back, only forward, into the kind of life where being real is your greatest power and being loved for it is your greatest reward.